Let me ask you a simple question. Have you ever woken up one morning and felt like the life you imagine doesn't match the one you're living? Maybe you're over 40, maybe you've worked hard for years. You've taken care of others, you faced your losses, changes, disappointments, responsibilities, and still there's a quiet voice inside asking, now what? If that feels like you, I want you to know right now, this is the space for you. I'm not here to tell you that everything is easy. I'm not here to sell you a magic formula. I just want to have an honest conversation about what it means to start again when you've already lived a lot of life. So many people believe that once you hit 40, 50, even 60, opportunities might be behind you. But what if that isn't true? What if this is actually the beginning of something far more authentic? I want to explore that with you. Over the next few minutes, we're going to talk about what holds us back, the lies we shared, and the truth that can set us free to design the next chapter on our own terms. Have you ever woken up one morning and felt like the life you imagine doesn't match the one you're living? Maybe you're over 40, maybe you've worked hard for years. You've taken care of others, you faced your losses, changes, disappointments, responsibilities, and still there is a quiet voice inside asking, now what? If that feels like you, I want you to know right now, this is the space for you. I'm not here to tell you that everything is easy. I'm not here to sell you a magic formula. I just want to have an honest conversation about what it means to start again when you've already lived a lot of life. So many people believe that once you hit 40, 50, even 60, the best opportunities might be behind you. But what if that isn't true? What if this is actually the beginning of something far more authentic? I want to explore that with you. Over the next few minutes, we're going to talk about what holds us back, the lies we share to believe, and the truth that can set us free to design the next chapter on our own terms. These are ways to get through a life in transition. Let me start by telling you something. I think one of the hardest things about getting older isn't actually getting older. It's realizing that the life you thought you were going to have might not be the life you are living. If you've ever gone through a major transition, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe you got divorced. Maybe your children grew up and suddenly the house became quiet. Maybe you lost a job. Maybe you changed careers. Maybe you moved somewhere new. Maybe a new relationship started or ended. Maybe you lost someone you loved. Or maybe nothing dramatic has happened at all. Maybe you simply woke up one morning and realized, I don't think I want this anymore. I don't think I want this life anymore. And honestly, sometimes that is the hardest transition of all. Because when something happens to you, you can point it out. You can point to it. You can say that's what changed my life. But when the change happens inside of you, it's different. Nobody else is necessarily seeing it. You just know that something feels different. And that's where I want to start. Because I think transitions in life happens in stages. First, something changes, then we resist, then we question ourselves, then we feel lost. And eventually, if we're willing
to sit with the uncertainty long enough, we begin to discover a new version of ourselves. And the middle part, that's messy. That's the messy part. That's the part nobody talks about. I'll give you an example. Imagine waking up one morning, realizing that the life you've been working on so hard to maintain doesn't feel like yours anymore. Everything might look fine from the outside. You have responsibilities. You have people who depend on you. You have bills, routines. You know what you're supposed to do every day. But inside, there's this little voice saying, "Is this it?" And at first, you try to ignore it. You tell yourself, "I'm just tired. I just been stressed. I'll feel better next week." And then next week comes and you still feel it. So you try to distract yourself. You stay busy, you take care of everybody else. You clean the house, you go to work, you scroll through the phone. You watch other people's lives, and that's when the comparison starts. You see everybody buying a house, everybody traveling, somebody getting married, somebody starting a business, somebody looking amazing at 45. And you think, what am I doing wrong? Maybe you're not doing anything wrong. Maybe you're in transition, and transition is uncomfortable because the old version of your life has stopped fighting. But the new version hasn't started, hasn't arrived yet. That's the part that can make you feel like you're behind. You're starting in the hallway between two rooms, and you can't go back into the old room, but you're not completely inside the new one yet. And that hallway can feel lonely. I've learned that you can't always rush your way through that. That hallway needs time. Sometimes you have to walk through it. And I think there are 5 things that can help us do that. Let's begin. The first thing we have to do is accept. Accept this transition. Accept and accept. And acceptance doesn't mean you like what happened. It doesn't mean you approve of it. It doesn't mean you aren't disappointed. It simply means you are saying, this is where I am right now. That's very different. Because if you're constantly fighting reality, you don't have much energy left to create something new. Think about it. If a chapter of your life has ended, you can spend 5 years wishing it hadn't ended. Or you can eventually ask, okay, what do I do with the chapter I'm in now? That's where your power comes back. So you ask yourself, what has changed in my life that I haven't fully accepted yet? Maybe that's the question you need to sit with. Sit with that question and let me know how it feels and what you've got from it. This one is huge because comparison can make a transition feel 10 times worse. Oof, I have been there. You look at someone else and think, she's already figured it out. She has more money. She looks happier. She has a relationship. Her career is successful and she seems so confident. But you don't know her entire story. You don't know what she sacrificed. You don't know what she struggled with. And you certainly don't know what happens when she closes the front door and nobody's watching. So instead of asking, why am I not where she is, ask this: where do I want to be? That's the completely different question. That's the question, because now we're not comparing. We're planning. And here's something I want you to try. Take a piece of paper and write what I thought my life would look like by now. Write it all down. Then underneath it, write what I actually want now. Not what your mother wants, not what society says, not even your friends, not what they're doing, not the thoughts you had or when you thought where you were supposed to be or what you wanted to be when you were 25. What you do want now, because you are allowed to change your mind. So take your time with that and allow yourself to know what you want today, right now. Live in the now. Next. This is one that I don't think we talk about enough. Sometimes you're not just grieving a person, you're grieving a version of yourself. Maybe you thought you would have been a certain kind of woman by this age. You would have been a different, I don't know. We think a lot. Maybe you thought you have a certain career. Maybe you would have a certain family, a certain relationship, a certain lifestyle. And when that doesn't happen, there can be a quiet grief. You may not know or may not even realize that what you're feeling. You just feel disappointed, you feel lost, feel angry. You feel like you've washed everybody else while you wasted your time. But you may actually be grieving an old dream. And that is okay, my friend. Give yourself permission to say, that wasn't the life I ended up having. Then say, but that doesn't mean my life is over. Those two things can exist together. You can be disappointed about the past and still be excited about the future. You don't have to pretend everything happened exactly the way you want it to. Stop letting the past show you your future. Envision your own future, a new future for you, who you are right now. All right, moving right along. Next one. When you're going through a transition, it's very easy to think you need to completely reinvent your life. New career, new body, new house, new relationship, new personality, new everything. And suddenly, you have this enormous list of things you're supposed to fix. That's so overwhelming. Instead, create small anchors. Something you can consistently do that reminds you, I'm still moving forward. Maybe it's walking every morning. Maybe journaling. Maybe it's reading 10 pages a day. Maybe it's exercising 3 times a week. Maybe it's putting $25 into a savings account. Maybe it's spending 1 hour every Sunday planning your week. Maybe it's learning something you've always wanted to learn. small things matter. Yes, they do. Because confidence doesn't usually appear first. Action comes first, then confidence follows. You don't have to rebuild your entire life tomorrow. You just need to prove to yourself that you can take the next step. And then another, and then another. The next one. This might be my favorite one. Instead of constantly asking, what happened to me? Start asking, who am I becoming? That's completely different. The energy changes because maybe the woman you're becoming doesn't look like the woman you imagined 10 years ago. Maybe she's calmer, stronger. Maybe she's more independent. Maybe she doesn't tolerate certain things anymore. Maybe she says no. She doesn't need everybody to approve of her and values peace more than appearance. Maybe she wants a smaller life. Maybe she wants a bigger life. Maybe she wants to start a business. Maybe travel. Maybe, and why not, fall in love again. Maybe she wants to be alone for a while. Maybe she has absolutely no idea yet. And let me tell you, that is okay too. You don't have to know the entire destination. You just have to become curious about the next version of yourself. Ask yourself, what would I do if I stopped worrying about being behind? That's a powerful question. Because maybe you'd finally start that business, that class. You'd leave the situation that's draining you. You start dating again. Maybe you'd move or travel. Maybe you simply start talking better and take better care of yourself. Maybe you finally give yourself permission to become someone different. And everybody's different. Remember to be yourself. All right, the transition. So when you're in that transition, please remember this. You're not necessarily lost. You may simply be between versions of yourself, and that's uncomfortable because the old identity feels familiar. Even when it wasn't making you happy, the new identity feels uncertain, uncomfortable. But uncertainty doesn't mean something wrong. Doesn't mean it's wrong. Sometimes uncertainty means you're growing. So if you're in that hallway right now, between the woman you are or were and the woman you are becoming, don't rush to run back to the old room just because it's familiar. Take a breath. Look around. Ask yourself what this season is trying to teach you. And most importantly, stop telling yourself that you're behind, because maybe you're not behind at all. Maybe you're finally moving into the direction that actually belongs to you. And if that's where you are right now, I want to tell you, go ahead and do it. Keep going. Don't stop. I want you to tell me in the comments, what is one thing in your life that you're ready to stop comparing yourself to? Other people's lifestyle, whichever way you want to put it. I really want to know, because chances are you're feeling this way You're not the only one. And maybe that's what this channel can become. A place where we can talk about the things that we don't always say out loud. The transitions, the mistakes, the reinventions, relationships, disappointments, the dreams we still have, and the woman we're still becoming. Because maybe you're not starting over, maybe you're starting from experience.
Are you ready for this? It is the perfect moment to start something new and exciting together. So take a deep breath and let us